Good evening. Hello, everyone. On behalf of Team Avatar at myavatar.com, I welcome you to the 25th day of our month long celebrations, Diversity Mahotsav 2021. My name is Archana, and I will be your host for today. Before we begin, on behalf of Avatar and My Avatar, I wish you all a Merry Christmas. On this auspicious day, we wish you all the luck in the world, happiness, and good health. As we start, here are a few hygiene checks for a seamless virtual experience. Please close all other applications on your computer and log out from your organization's VPN to conserve internet bandwidth. Once again, extremely thrilled and delighted to welcome you all to the 25th day of Diversity Mahotsav. What is Diversity Mahotsav all about? We are celebrating diversity, celebrating you. Diversity Mahotsav is presented by myavatar.com, India's only diversity portal with jobs, events, skilling programs, webinars, and more for all the underrepresented groups at the workplace. For those who have joined us today, we are delighted to have you on board. We hope you will join us through this month for some riveting sessions and loads of learning. We would like to thank our partners for Diversity Mahotsav 2021. Ideology partners, Cognizant, HCL Technologies Limited, and Strive, supporting partners, Forasia India Private Limited, Logitech Engineering and Designs India Private Limited, Saint Cobain India Private Limited, Sodexo, and Zorian Solutions, followed by our community partner, NASCOM. Our social media hashtags are hashtag Diversity Mahotsav and hashtag Celebrating Diversity. We look forward to you posting your experience at Diversity Mahotsav on your social media handles using these hashtags. So, yesterday, in the 24th edition of Soundbites, we heard from Dr. Soundarya Rajesh, founder president, Avatar Group, emphasizing on how do we measure the impact of DEI at the workplace. So, today, let's begin our 25th day with the 25th edition of Soundbites, a series where our founder president, Dr. Soundarya Rajesh, clarifies some of the pertinent questions that she has been addressing on various aspects on diversity, equity, and inclusion in her 21-year career of being the subject matter expert in DEI. Dr. Soundarya is an award-winning pioneer in this field as she explains the importance of equitable workspaces. Her work in this space of DEI is unparalleled in the country. Dr. Soundarya Rajesh, a social entrepreneur who won several accolades and awards such as the 100 Women Achiever from the Government of India, Web Wonder Women by Twitter and the Ministry of Women and Child Welfare, Winds of Change 2019 Award by the Forum of Inclusion at Minnesota, Women Transforming India Award, Golden Aviator Award, India's Most Innovative Diversity and Inclusion Leaders Award, and so on, was once a second career woman who acted against the inequalities posed by the corporate world in recruiting women candidates on a career break. An inexorable advocate of potential of women's workforce participation, Dr. Soundarya is the advisor of choice for an impressive list of organizations and leaders on the benefits of diversity, equity, and inclusion. Today, in the 25th edition of Soundbites, we will have Dr. Soundarya explaining us the simple ways which DI can be formed as a routine for an organization. Over to you, Dr. Soundarya.
When diversity, equity, and inclusion are important for an organization, then it gets reflected in the way in which business gets done on a daily basis. So how can you be inclusive? How can it become a routine? Simple. By writing job descriptions which are inclusive, by providing skilling for people who are returning from a break, by ensuring that people have flexible working styles, and by celebrating every festival that is important to the people in the organization. Speaking of festivals, a very Merry Christmas To everybody celebrating it today, wish you a wonderful, joyful time here where we speak about the benefits of diversity, equity, and inclusion.
Thank you so much, Dr. Soundarya, for that insightful explanation that will enable organizations to implement these ways to create the space of DEI as a routine map in their workplaces. Today, we have our eminent speaker talking about every story matters, the art, science, and craft of storytelling. Vikram Sridhar is a performance storyteller and a theatre practitioner. Sitting behind temple elephants, nursing wounded puppies, working with various theatre groups, Vikram combines his various interests work over 20 plus years of his journey. An engineer and also a management degree holder, Vikram has worked with MNCs in the marketing and consulting domains before turning into a full time performance artist. Through folktales and folklore, he is trying to discover our rich Indian heritage of oral literature and tradition, which is somewhere lost sitting in books. He believes in storytelling as a strong medium of conservation from nature to human relationships. He has traveled extensively performing to audiences of various age groups, demographics, and cultural backgrounds. He believes a story a day keeps the doctor away, not an apple. Over to you, Vikram.
Thanks, Archana. Thanks to the entire lovely people at Avatar and the Diversity Mahotsav, and wishing you all a Merry Christmas. I'm going to ask the most important question that ever has been asked. Am I audible? Am I visible? And super. So now that I'm audible and visible and you all can see me, I'm going to ask you a question. What did you all have for breakfast or lunch? Whichever was your last meal, put that in the chat. If you're watching it on YouTube, put that in the chat window on YouTube. And veg biryani, lovely. And you see, biryani is an emotion, veg biryani is another emotion. More korumbu. Somebody says, and somebody says tomato rice, somebody says burger, somebody says rice and spinach. Wow, each one of it is so different in taste and so different in colors, but we all love our food, don't we? Hi, my name is Vikram Sridhar, and like the Betal, Vikram Betal, that many of you might know, if you know, you're from the 80s and 90s. If not, it's okay, you can Google it. I just tell stories for a living today. And I'm going to take you through a journey of my journey, but the story of stories, the journey of stories and journey of the teller who just tells stories. I don't do anything else right now. I'm only telling stories. And as you relish the food that you had, sit back and come with me on a journey as we go into it. But then let me start with a story. A theme like diversity, equity, and inclusion takes me back to one of the oldest stories that's ever been told in this country. And in a country like India, stories are not once in a year. It is not an annual day celebration, but it's an everyday celebration. And so once, like I said, my namesake, and you remember this namesake of Vikram. Anybody, if you can put it in the chat, put that. There are so many Vikrams that we know, and I gave you the clue. Vikram Betal and Raja Vikramaditya. And Raja Vikramaditya is such a known Raja. If you go into Bhopal and land today, the airport of Bhopal is called Raja Bhoj International Airport. Yes, there's Vikram the actor, there's Vikram the Raja, and there are many, many Vikrams. If you go to Ahmedabad, they'll say, no, it's Vikram Sarabhai. So there are Vikrams across the country who are popular in different ways. And for this story, I'm only taking you back to Vikramaditya. Once upon a time, there was this Vikramaditya, and they say the word Vikramaditya is not one king or one ruler. It's a gender neutral word because it's not a person, but it's a quality of Aditya. Who all can have the quality of Aditya is a Vikramaditya. And so lived a ruler long, long ago, very long ago. And this ruler was so revered by the people that people used to just smile every time they used to hear the name of this ruler. And this ruler was so happy and so smiling that his subjects were so smiley. He forgot sometime to even go into the people's land. And one such day when he was in his palace, in his office room, in his boardroom, in his counseling room. And that is when a minister came running with full speed and asked and told the Raja, Raja, you see, every day you're getting updates, but today people have stopped giving you updates because you think that everybody is satisfied. But there is a problem in this country. And what is the problem? Said Vikramaditya. And when he asked what is the problem, the minister, the mantri said, you can't ask in a country like India. You need to see, you need to feel. So come along with me. Raja said, okay, I'll come along with you. And the Raja stepped out from the throne and went into the market. And a market is just not for one product, right? You see, the beauty of the market is all the tomato vendors, all the paper vendors, all the pen sellers, all the singers will all be together in the market, and the jugalbandi that happens. And the Raja entered such a market. And when the Raja entered that market, there was music and dance and speech and stories going on. And the Raja was taken to a shop, to a space of an artist who was sitting and crying. And this Raja looked at the painter and said, why are you not smiling like the others? And the painter said, well, you see, uh, I, what are you talking about? Why are you stammering? Tell, it's okay. And the painter told the minister and the Raja, look at my painting. You see, even now when you're all watching my screen, you might notice that something is not right, because you see, even in Zoom, sometimes we expect this very, 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 very perfect frame. Sometimes, we can't get the perfect frame. And the Raja looked at the painting and was, what was that painting? And the Raja looked, and the painting was like this. But the Raja was Vikramaditya, no expression, no emotion. And the minister said, that is why the painter is not having a good day, Raja. Don't you understand? And the Raja said, what do I do? What can I do? Well, nobody's buying the painting. He's a national asset. You have to do something. You have to make him well. So what can I do? Can I buy the painting? Of course, buy the painting, said the minister. And the Raja looked around and checked the painting again with sound effects. 3-dimensional painting that was. How much would you all pay for a painting like that? The Raja did that. Put that in dollars, in rupees, in euros, in dirhams, whatever currency you want, put that in there. 15,000. Wow. I wish I was a painter. I'll get 15,000. But even if it's rupees. We hear 15,000 rupees. We say depends. Well, depends is a big term in India, you see. And the Raja paid the paisa and took the painting and put it right on the wall. But the wall was not in the dining hall or the main hall, but the wall was in his bedroom, right opposite to him. Every time he wakes up in the morning, he's going to see this painting. But Raja Vikramaditya did that and put the painting in front of him in his bedroom. Days passed, nights passed, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday passed, and Raja forgot about the entire event and put his hand up one day and stretched it. And he felt something going away from him. And he looked and saw that this was the goddess of wealth. And the goddess of wealth looked at him and said, Raja, you are a Raja. You are the head of a kingdom. You are the head of a large country. Can't you think before paying for this painting? And the goddess of wealth went away. How many of you are okay with wealth going away from you right now? Google Pay, 0 balance. Online, 0. But Raja Vikramaditya said, okay, tada, bye-bye. And she went away. And days went past, and Raja again went on with his duties. And another day, he felt something else going away from him. And the Raja looked at, and this was the goddess of knowledge. the knowledge that she had attained over years and years of practice, years and years of reading and asking and talking to his different teachers. And she went away and she looked at him and said, money at least, okay, but can't you use your knowledge to judge if this painting is worth something or not? She went away. How many of you are okay with knowledge going away? But Raja said, okay, tada, bye-bye, see you another day. She went away and the knowledge went away and wealth went away and Raja became... And a few days later, again Raja Vikramaditya felt something else going away and she was saying that money is okay, but the knowledge is okay, but I am, what do you call, this common sense, this power inside, the intuition power. She went away. And Raja said, tata, bye-bye, it's okay. And she said, and we use that in our day-to-day chores, right? With our children, with our colleagues, with our family, this intuition of the power of judgment, or this entire instinct, what they say. And she also went away. How many of you are okay with that going away? And she went away. And Raja, without these three, became... Time went on. And another day, Raja became the Raja, which no one even ever thought of this Raja. But the Raja one day, without even thinking, got up another day and felt something going away from him completely, from his body into thin air. And when the Raja saw that, he said, stop. What do you say, stop in your mother tongue or father tongue? Or grandmother tongue or grandfather tongue? Because today we have multiple tongues, right? Just not one mother tongue. How do you say stop? In the land that I come from, we say nil. What is it in your language? And the Raja said, stop, ruko, nil. And she looked back and said, why are you stopping me? You didn't stop money, you didn't stop knowledge, you didn't stop the willpower, but there's nothing, you can't even buy me in any shop. You can't order me online. You can't do anything with me, but why me? And Raja said, what? You don't even know your own value. But nobody trades me. Nobody teaches me in a workshop. Nobody pays even 99 rupees for workshops for attending my workshops like mine. You say wealth, people will come for workshop. You say knowledge, people will come for workshop. You say power, people will come for workshop. But me, nobody comes, zero participation. The Raja said, no, nobody. You're above everybody. It's okay, I'm above everybody, but at least give me some value, no? I shall give you that value, said the Raja. And the Raja said, if you are there, I can bring back everybody. But if you are not there, I can't bring even one of them. I can get them back anytime. But if you go away, I can never bring them back. And she said, what? Me? No college teaches about me. No school teaches about me. Nobody talks about me. But after me, why me? Because you are above workshops. You are above universities. You're above college. You are dhairya. You are confidence. And if you are there, I can get anything in life. If you are not there, what can I do in this world? Said the Raja. Because we come from a country, we come from cultures which teach this as a first thing. But sometimes we forget that. And the Raja said, you are the ultimate. You are the beginning and you are the ultimate. And if dhairya is not there, money, knowledge, power. And when he said that, confidence came back. When confidence came back, knowledge came back, power came back, wealth came back. I'm the Raja Vikramaditya. La 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 la. La 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 la. And Raja continued singing and dancing and telling stories on and on and on. And with that story, I'm going to begin the story about the storyteller, because this is one story I remember when I'm reading and sharing it multiple times. The beauty of these stories will take you many days to sink in, because these are classical stories. This is not a fast food story. Think about the story in your dinner time. Think about the story tomorrow with your family or your children or your colleagues. You will understand this power of the story. I'm going to share my screen to tell you, because sometimes audio and visual has a beautiful combination. If you can see my screen, again, as usual, say yes, and I shall open. Super. La 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 la. The story of the storyteller, story. Where that you can spot me somewhere in this. And this was taken about 4 years back in 2017 in Ahmedabad, in a little space called Scrapyard Theatre, lovely little space. And this didn't happen as I planned or designed. It evolved like many other choices of us. And as I keep sharing, put your questions in the chat, put your thoughts in the boxes, we'll talk about it. And what does it mean to say the art, science, and the craft of storytelling? We all use this word storytelling all the time, but I'm going to go into story-based, story workshops, story curriculum, but what is the storytelling? And come with me on this journey. If you are going to come with me, just put a yes, a thumbs up. You see, these emotions are very interesting in the Zoom box. Or just say yes on the chat window. That'll give me a little energy, because we're all this face-looking people, right? We can have Facebook, we can have WhatsApp, but one voice note from our friend is all that we'll make our day. Thank you. And they say the people in this world are so many. And what do you think is the shortest distance between two human beings? Well, it's you can put it as a Konbaniga Crorepati question. You can put it as a board exam question. What do you think is the shortest distance between two people? And it's just a one word. What do you think the shortest distance between two people is? Dash. Fill it the word. Emotions, beautiful. A word, communication, lovely. Anything else? And if there are, you can give more than one word also. It's something that's lovely to go through more words. No distance at all. Emotions, beautiful. Connect, lovely. Vibes. Okay, and if you want your answers to be in a safe space, you can even do a direct message. That's perfectly fine. And eye contact, lovely. Care, vibes, connect, emotions, no distance at all, communications, emotions, a word, love, pyar, kadal, prema, belief, beautiful. And you put any word, it'll work. And sometimes I say the shortest distance between two people is this word. And this word can be told with anybody, right? It could be with children, it could be with parents, it could be with teachers, it could be with spouses, relationships, it can be with office. Is there any space this word doesn't work? I don't know, but this is a powerful word. Again, I'm going to ask you, what is this word sorry in your tongues? Mother tongue, father tongue, dadi tongue, nana tongue, nani tongue. What is a word? Because it's a very, very, very lovely word. Sometimes these words, when you think of it as in a vernacular, you can feel it a little bit. Manichikungo, Bharatam Terivikurum, Mapu. And say it loudly, you'll feel how it feels. And of course, like many other words, Khama kore dhao, okay? And I say, and the sorry can happen with many things, right? I mean, you can use so many things to create this beautiful scenario, create this beautiful space of sorry. It could work from a cup of chai, or it could work with flowers. It depends on, or anything. What do you can also give me, how the sorry can work? What do you think will work with sorry? I've given you chai and a rose. What do you think would work for you? Is it a movie? Is it just a good conversation? And what is that for each one of us? A genuine conversation. Lovely. And there are many ways. Each one of us have our strategies in place. And you just take the R and an open talk, and you put one of the R's out and introduce a T, start of a conversation sometimes, and it becomes a story. The word, which is very strong, has another element where it becomes a story. Hug and say sorry, love you. It becomes a story. The shortest distance between two people after sorry could also be story. How, why, what, I shall take you in the next few minutes. And stories are, let's start with my own story. Wait. We all have our stories. And like every South Indian, or many South Indian, I'm not being generic, but of course, we all are so diverse. Yes, I did many things. I did my schooling, I did my college, I did my engineering, I did my master's, and I went to work. And when I went to work, it was a campus placement, and I thought that is going to be my career, and up the ladder, up the ladder, up the ladder. And well, nobody shows you the ladder, right? It's a very fictitious ladder that's lying somewhere. And well, not that I drink a lot of coffee, but then the tick marks were in place. And I come from a family which was very liberal. We are two brothers, and my brother has done beautiful things. And I sometimes think I started a little late in doing those beautiful things. And when the sticks mark are open, well, sometimes if you're in the top of the class, well, you know what you're going to do. When you're in the bottom of the class, you know what to do. But what if you're in the middle of the class? What if you're in the middle of the class and this is how you spend time passing exams? I'm sure some of you have done this in school and college, right? If yes, if you say, no, I was a very studious student. I used to study every day and pass my exams. And this happened to me every time. Yes, first bench, book reading, everything. But yes, beautifully I did. I mean, I got my 90s in 12. I did mine. In college, I was a top 5 in my department. I was one of the very few in those days who didn't have an earlier in mechanical engineering. And I came out with flying colors. Even in my postgraduate, I was well there. And as time went, I realized that a certain times career, or which happens in the Indian system, very, 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 very naturally, sometimes needs what we call masala. And what I say masala in the Indian system many times is called extracurricular things, right? The extracurricular gives this masala. And some of us, I'm only saying some of us because each one of us are beautifully different. And what I might be sharing might connect to some of us. And some of us who enjoyed the outside the class things, which could be our debates, which could be our playground, it could be our music, it could be a dance. And when you come back to classroom, our energy drops. Anybody like that, where your energy exploded when you did things outside the syllabus? And that, for me, was slowly happening. And in school and college, the two things that always connected, like my bio says, sitting behind temple elephants and nursing wounded puppies, I used to nurse a lot of animals. So I had my caterpillar time in Chennai and my butterfly time in Bangalore. So in Chennai, I used to volunteer with Blue Cross, and I used to work with a lot of rescue animals and birds and cows and donkeys and all these cattle-based animals. And I used to treat them not physically, because of course we're not doctors, but emotionally. Because a lot of times nature teaches us things which textbooks and humans sometimes can fail. And this is how I fed one masala bucket of mine. And the other masala bucket of mine was in working with children from various communities, various demographics, various background, hospitals. I used to go to the Cancer Institute and work with the children there by being just nautanki, you could just make them dance and smile. And many such hospitals, many such homes, many such schools, government schools. And anytime that happened, I used to do that. And the third that entered my life was this world of drama and theater. So when drama and theater entered, I used to act in plays, I used to work in production. And in between all this, you see the person in below, used to go to office. And this was a time in Bangalore. Yes, it was Bangalore because that time it was not Bengaluru, it was Bangalore. And in between the blazer time, in between the shaven time, in between the clean combed hair, this Betal used to do all these three running around and go, get up 4 in the morning, go and rescue maybe a kite, go and then work with a children's home, and then work in a production play, and then go to office and do that. And in 20s, when your energy is exploding, channelizing that energy makes a lot of beautiful things into our life. And that is how I did. Because in 20s, if you can channelize, trust me, a lot of blooming, because energy is going to explode. In all energy is waiting to be explored. It can go to any channel. And this is what I did. And when this was happening, as slowly time progressed, I was moving up in the career. I moved from consulting, I moved into marketing, and slowly and slowly and slowly, time did go. But then, why was it doing all these three? Why was it doing all these four things? I call it the FERS principle. Well, this is not there in any textbook. This is what I have coined. So if you Google, you may not find it. It's called the FERS principle. We all do things for four reasons. And these three plus one. So the three things could be, one is a financial need. Well, it is an old 2 rupee note. I don't think it's in production now, but don't judge me for that. But the financial need tells us to take choices in our career. And the second is our emotional needs. Our emotion, we do many things as an emotion, and it's so important to cater to our emotional needs, right? Because nobody else is going to come and say, hey, are you okay? Because we need to first understand that our emotions is only going to be first sensed by us. And I sense that a lot of my emotions needed to be channelized. So financial need, our emotional need, and the third is our spiritual need. When you say spiritual, it means different things to different people. There is no one answer. What is that spiritual need? Is it going inside? Is it going outside? It's just as gray as it gets. And my spiritual need was also sort of bubbling in that. And in between all that, we need to understand our relationships are very important. Because our relationships might not be tangential. No, you can't find a tangible number to it, but it's so beautifully important. So financial, emotional, spiritual, in between our relationships, what I call the first. And ask yourself, what are these four for you? And today, relationships are just not blood relationships, right? Our company, our people we work with, our friends we meet at 7 o'clock, our friends we've met through common portals, common hobbies, common outing. And these networks are going to keep building in today's time because family, as a name, is expanding in dimension. And these four are constantly going to keep coming with us. And for that, I did these three things. I did financially, I went for a work. Emotionally, I used to do work with theater, and spiritually with animals and birds and rescues and working with children. But we all have sometimes a point to question, why am I doing what am I doing? And a lot of us, and for me, it happened in my 30s. And it's not that it should happen. The beauty is we're all work in progress. And when it happened with storytelling, when I started this pure thing called storytelling, and if you see this closer, this image sort of captures all the three. There is wildlife and ecology that's around there. And there is bird. This is Cubbon Park in Bangalore as part of a festival called Neralu. There are trees and there are birds. And if you look closer, you will find children in them. And children, not just in numerical number, but in the heart. And then when you look closer, I also am performing, which means my three different extras or masala came into one thing with the idea of storytelling. And with storytelling, I also discovered that I could bring in a connect, what we call ikigai, what we call connect the dots. It just came coming together. And this particular way is what I enjoy doing. But then Well, do I do it every day or do I do it once in a week? And I started doing this almost every day, sometimes even thrice a day. I used to go between work and go to a center and work with autistic children and then come back and continue working. And it was getting more than that. But then E is there, the S is there, the R is there. But what about the F part of it, the financial part of it? And that I'm going to pause and take you out into a story before I continue. Like many friends, give me an animal. Can you all just give me one animal that you can immediately identify with? Give me an animal. A dog, a buffalo, a dog and a buffalo lioness, a dog and a buffalo lioness. And I'm waiting for some more animals, and let's see who is giving me a little more animal. And this was not one of them, but it was a monkey. And one day a little monkey got lost in a jungle because the mama and papa had gone somewhere. And the monkey was searching for its buffalo. La, 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 la. Beautiful. And trust me, this country has so many. There are two types of buffaloes, mainly one with a big horn, one with a curly horn. And once this little monkey was searching for mama and papa, it started crying. Wah, 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 wah. And then came a butterfly. And this butterfly came and sat on the monkey and asked the monkey, why are you crying, monkey? And the monkey said, Mama, Papa, missing. What do I do? And the butterfly said, why are you crying? Let's go find Mama and Papa. So tell me, where do Mama, Papa live? Yeah, we can give as many animals. Why should we stick with one animal? The world is filled. India has 60 to 70% of the world's fauna. But then how many of us know more than 5 or 6 of it? Rhinoceros, an elephant. Let's see if we can bring in any of these into the story. And where do monkeys live? Give me a tree's name. Now give me quickly, anybody can give me a tree's name. A tigress. Give me a tree's name. A banyan tree. And they went to a banyan tree, and the butterfly and the monkey went to the banyan tree, and the butterfly said, see, Mama and Papa are on a tree. And you must be happy that you found Mama, Papa. No, this is not Mama, Papa. This is a snake. What? Mama, Papa are not like queen. They have legs. Okay. And they went to another tree. They went to a neem tree. La 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 la. They went to a neem tree, and again the butterfly said, see, Mama, Papa living in a tree, and they have legs. And see, no, this is not Mama and Papa. This is a woodpecker. See, toku, 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 it is eating. And Mama and Papa don't have pointy nose. And they don't eat like that. They eat, but what do monkeys eat? Simple question. What do monkeys eat? What do you think monkeys eat? Monkeys. Fruits and banana. And they said, let's go to a banana tree. And they went to a banana tree. La 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 la. And the butterfly said, see, Mama, Papa, banana eating, happy are you? No, this is not a banana. This is not my Mama, but this is a parrot or a parakeet. And look at the nose like this. And the butterfly said, what? Nobody's a Mama, Papa. Then what do I do? Butterfly, did you see the snake and the woodpecker and the parrot? Do they look like me? The butterfly said, no. And don't you know that Mama, Papa should look like me? Okay. But when I was little, my Mama, Papa didn't look like me. How do I know that? Oh. The monkey said, so your Mama, Papa look different when you were little? Well, we even had a different name when we were little, monkey. We were called caterpillars, you see? Oh, I thought everybody was same. No, monkey, each one of us have a different life, but we can still be friends. Yeah. And now the monkey explained about the mama and papa. And the butterfly and the monkey went searching for mama and papa. La 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 la. La 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 la. And in such a diverse world, communication, listening adds warmth and understanding somebody's background. Let me tell you my story now. And as time went past, you reach a situation when you're stuck between these two words, between passion and career. Some of us do so many things as passion, and some of us have a beautiful career, or sometimes a career which we might not fit in, because every career, every passion is beautiful. It's us, we need to find our connect. So my passion was tick mark. I now had reached a point when I know this is what I want to do. Can I do la la la? And what about career? Because at one time I was doing something in the corporate office. I was marketing a tech product. And then my passion of storytelling was going and going and going and going. And this is always going to be a time that's beautifully complicated because nobody has answers. It's like movie making. Nobody has a formula for a hit movie. It's only us who need to pause. And this stage came, and somebody told me this word, surrender. And this word even today sticks to me. What does surrender mean to us? And where do we surrender? How do we surrender? Whom do we surrender to? And when that happened, this is an African quote, which says, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. And when I found my passion, I also knew that I had to do it step by step. You cannot build a castle in a day. And we need to understand this world has existed for such a long time, and we just can't overnight say, oh, this is what I'm going to do, and I'm going to be brilliant in that. No. Everything has to be step by step. Yes, with faith, I took it step by step. But even before that, there was something that I was looking at. What are these markets for storytelling? Where do I get the F or the financial benefit from? Because yes, emotionally, yes, spiritually, yes, relationships, yes, a lot of people saying, yes, you can do it. But what about the financial return? So I paused and saw there were three spaces of storytelling in India. Across the world, it has different worlds. And in India, there were three main spaces where storytelling was happening and could happen because it is still a very nascent stage. One was academics and education, where in schools and college you use, or even in museums and spaces of education, where stories and storytelling becomes a way to engage. The second is the corporate world. When you look at meetings, you look at PPTs, you look at board meetings, how to storify your content. And the third is performing. And that is what I could connect to. I'd like to sit and perform stories. And I realized when I started it's around 2013 and 14, not many people perform stories for others. And the art of performance was just to tell stories. And there were few in vernacular, and there were lovely people who were doing, but there's much more that could happen. So I said, and this is what I connected to, because I don't have academic background. I of course have a corporate background. I will use it, but as a performer, I said, okay, this is my tick mark. And I went with it. And I started performing across India, sometimes for children, sometimes for adults. And sometimes, of course, I went to educational spaces as a performer, because you need to understand what is your ticket to the spaces that you identify. And these spaces were evolving, and they were a lot of that smiles and returns told me that, you should listen to it. And the next step when you identify your passion and want to look at it as a career is listen to the world around you. We need to listen to our stakeholders, listen to our people around us, listen to the media for some time, because sometimes the media wrote a lot of articles about me. So that was another way. And where is your voices coming? We need to understand a lot of times our passion might be good, but is a question. And that's when listening to the world is so important. Listening to well-wishers, and of course we need to filter it. And of course we need to look at it with a critical aim. And there will be a lot of voices which says no, there will be a lot of voices which says yes. And this journey, you have to decide, do you want to go as a singular entity or do you want to make a team? Both are binary. And that's one thing I learned in life. There are no absolute answers. You always choose a binary, this or that, or this or that. And the moment you choose, you have to travel that journey because it's our choices. And we live in a world of choices. And these choices brilliantly keep evolving. Oh, let me go into the next story. And this story is about a Manipur king and queen called Ning Tao. Long, long ago, so long ago, the king and the queen were about to appoint their next heir to the throne. And they had 4 children. And 3 of them were elder, and one was a little girl who was just about 2 to 3 years old. And when it was time to appoint, they called out to the entire country to come and witness this beautiful journey. And the 3 princes were given a horse and asked to conquer the world and come back. And each of the princes went across the mountains. Some went across the river, some went across the forest. And the 3 of them went everywhere. And the horses jumped and went here and there and here and there and here and there. And they took days to come back. And the king and the queen were waiting for the Ning Tao. And the Ning Tao's day was coming closer. And on the day, all the 3 of them came back together. All the 3 horses came back together, and all the 3 princes said, I should be the Ning Tao. And the king and the queen were sitting down. And the queen said, shh, I shall decide the next ruler for this country. And she looked at the 3 princes. The prince who went to the forest and conquered the forest. The prince who went into the waters and underwaters and conquered the oceans. The prince who conquered the mountains. And she knew all 3 were equally powerful. And she was stuck in a fix. Do you choose someone who's conquered the underground, somebody who's conquered the mountains and the clouds also, or someone who's conquered the forest? And at such a time, she looked around and she saw the little daughter. And this little daughter was sitting and talking and singing a lullaby to the horses. Araro, ariraro, arirararo. Ariraro, ariraro, arirararo. Jojo, jojo, jojo. And she was applying a little bit of turmeric into the wounds of the horses. And the queen declared, a ruler is just not one who can conquer with power, but someone who's compassionate to nature, somebody who's compassionate to every being of an organization or everybody who is part of your conquest. If the horses were not there, what would they have done? And the horses and the buffaloes and the elephants and the ants and the trees, everybody makes a part of this world. Can we care for each one of them? And that's when they decided the next ruler of Manipur will not be a king, but will be the queen. And the little girl was appointed the next ruler of Manipur. It's an old folk tale. And from there, the story goes on to us. We all speak multiple languages. We all speak different mother tongues, father tongues. But look closer. If you can identify the language that you speak or hear at home, put your finger and say, yes, 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 yes. This is my language. But the beauty is, we might speak Telugu, we might speak Bangla, we might speak Kannada, Tamil. I come from the southern part of India, and that's why you'll see me in southern dialects. But the first letter, the vowels, all the consonants we speak are the same. We are divided with languages, but our sounds, it can be k, it can be ch, it can be t, it can be th. It will connect us if we see the layer between what we speak. And similar is us. I'm going to slowly end with this last story of this animal that we seldom would have seen, seldom you would have hugged it. And once upon a time, there was a porcupine. And this porcupine is living in a 40-degree world. And this 40-degree became 30, 20, 10, 0, minus 10, and slowly became minus 40. And this porcupine was shivering. And it was almost about to die when it saw another porcupine. And when it saw another porcupine, it went and hugged another porcupine and said, wow, you see, I was very cold and you are also cold. And we both, it's like when you're in trouble, you say, you see another person in trouble, you feel like, ha, 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 ha. And that, what happened to the porcupine? They both hugged each other. Oh, la, 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 la. And when they hugged each other, they also started poking each other because they had something special called the quills. And they poked each other. And they went away. And the moment they went away, the cold was still killing them, and they again were freezing, and they were about to die. And again they came, hugged each other. They were bleeding. Again they moved each other. Cold was killing. What do you think they should do? Hug, bleed, and stay, or move away, freeze to death? Just two options. What do you think they should do? Hug, bleed, or stay away and die? Hug, bleed, and stay. That's what they did. And that's what is our humans, right? We humans do the same thing with our relationships. We are people. Every time two people we meet, we will bleed each other. We will rupture each other through our words and action, but we need human beings because the warmth in this world can only be got from another human being. Yes or no? And every time two humans come together, yes, we will have our arguments, we will have a discomfort, but we do carry our quills, right? We all carry our quills in various forms and various ways. And that is the inclusiveness that we see. And the stories we shared make the world of today, and the stories we share today make the world of tomorrow. And the stories in our country are filled with diversity, are filled with equity, and always is filled with inclusion if we search for it. Because that's the power of the stories from this lovely, lovely, lovely country. I don't even know the boundaries, called India. And this land is filled, and whichever land we are has stories which can take us on a journey into D, E, and I. And today, I've taken a path. So and these images sometimes tells me this is worth a travel, because I don't even see who took this image. But this sort of tells the journey, of course, is lonely, of course, is not easy, but it is a journey. And when you see adults smiling, which very rarely adults sometimes do because we have so much of baggage on us, it still is gratifying. And for the time that we live in this earth, we only have a certain time. And let's look at us holding our time, and let's not allow somebody else to handle it. Because we're all work in progress. And I'm still work in progress. And our work in progress is continuous. And from a child who couldn't even see the camera, who couldn't even see an audience, if you can find me somewhere in these two images, you will find I'm one of the very few don't even know where to see. And from there, this has happened last week. So this is because of the hybrid world we live in. This is a place called Dakshin Chitra in Chennai, and this is, of course, the online world of where we do what we do. Life has taken a different turn, and I travel the world of a storyteller. Thank you, and that's the stories I have for today. A career in making, because like every personal career of art, it is something that we create. And there is a market, but the market is waiting to be created and explored. I'm going to answer two questions which came in the chat. An engineer, MBA, storyteller, what is the biggest learning in your journey so far? My learning is live in the moment, because what we studied and what we traveled will never, ever, ever go away. It's not to say that, oh, I did that. Every step is important. And I believe that today is a step. This sharing is a step for tomorrow. And that's something that I'm constantly on. If this step is not there, tomorrow I can't get my next step. So cherish every day, every step, and every opportunity that comes your way. Because if there are no steps and space, where do we exist? And for another question, doesn't the fear of failure trouble in the beginning when you take an offbeat path? The fear is only when there is no planning. If there is planning and there is a certain support system, I think the fear is cushioned. I think that cushioning is something that a lot of times we need to create. And then time is a cushion, relationship is a cushion, knowledge is a cushion. How much do we know about the subject? And once it's all there, make ourselves relevant in that space. If not, we can't just go and jump. Oh, this is so beautiful, go and jump. No, unless I'm relevant, how can I even take a journey? Unless I book my ticket, how can I go to the airport? Of course, I can pay the price, but the price is much higher if I go and book it directly. And another question, message to the millennials related to career choosing. Do everything that you're doing with love and know what you like to do to the fullest. And as a career, decide a career that suits you and your family, because each one of us are so different. When you look at a career choice, there is a certain thing and even if you're doing to a mainstream career, do not let your interest go away. Keep your interest on, because that is a masala that will make your career blossom. If there is no masala, the career can't blossom. So whatever you study, whatever you're studying, whatever we are doing, do that with 100%, but let the masala not go away, because we live in a country of masala. And for somebody like me, this masala has become the main dish. And I'm traveling and I don't know, maybe tomorrow it'll change, but as of now, that's only one path I'm traveling. So as a career, be willing to change, be willing to shift, be willing to adapt, be willing to unlearn, because today's jobs will not be relevant even next year. And that is something that I've learned. I'm pretty sure that our hard skills might not even work sometime, but our soft skills are going to work. So get your soft skills in place, because every career today is going to be dependent on soft skills, eye to eye. I am there. Any other questions? And thank you for many of you for joining in directly, and for those who are watching on YouTube. This is the Betal signing off.
Wow. I have no words, Vikram. That was such an impressive and inspiring session. I can't think of any other words. I'm sure the audience had a lot of takeaways to take from this session. I'm very sure of that. Thank you so much for joining us and giving this fun and frolic session again. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Avatar. Thanks to the wonderful people of Diversity Mahotsav.
Thank you so much. Thank you. So thank you, Vikram, for the wonderful session. Tomorrow, we have in our Pride and Beyond segment, we will have Ritushri Panigrahi, a lawyer, DE&I professional, India's first transgender woman stand-up comedian. Ritushri is the co-founder of the Outcast Collective, a DE&I and posh consulting firm. She's a queer rights activist, a corporate speaker, and writes articles on various platforms on issues concerning LGBTQIA+ community. Ritushri will provide us with insights on how to hone up skills on being a stand-up comic. Do join in tomorrow at 4 p.m. for this session to uncover the potential to tickle funny bones. Also, catch the agenda for the rest of the week at our portal myavatar.com. Once again, on behalf of Team Avatar and myavatar.com, I thank each one of you and welcome you to the rest of Diversity Mahotsav through December. Once again, we would like to thank our partners, Ideology Partners, Cognizant, HCL Technologies Limited, and Strive, supporting partners, Faurecia India Private Limited, Logitech Engineering and Designs India Private Limited, Saint Gobain India Private Limited, Sodexo, and Zorian Solutions, followed by our community partner, NASCOM. Our social media hashtags are hashtag Diversity Mahotsav and hashtag Celebrating Diversity. Do post your experience at Diversity Mahotsav on your social media handles with the hashtags. If you haven't registered yourself at myavatar.com, please log on today at myavatar.com and register yourself. Explore various opportunities and activities at our portal that celebrate diversity. Browse through to find jobs that might suit your skill set, read articles of your interest, and upskill yourself through various webinars conducted exclusively for you. Do join us tomorrow sharp at 4 p.m. for yet another insightful session. You can also view the hashtag Diversity Mahotsav series on our YouTube channel, which is Avatar, the Power of Diversity. The link is posted in the chat box. In case you have missed our previous days, please do click on the YouTube link to watch our previous episodes. This is Archana signing off. Till then, have a great evening, mask up, stay safe.